Trump announces Gaza peace plan with Netanyahu. Will Hamas accept? Good evening. You're watching Aurephic News. Our top story tonight: a dramatic new proposal to end the war in Gaza. Former U.S. President Donald Trump, standing alongside Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, has unveiled a 20-point peace plan that he says could bring one of the greatest days in civilization. The announcement has raised global hopes, but also many questions. Will Hamas accept? Or is this peace deal already doomed before it begins? Let's break down exactly what happened and what it could mean for the Middle East. In Washington, Donald Trump walked into the press conference with confidence, describing the day as big and beautiful. The core of his peace plan includes an immediate ceasefire in Gaza, a prisoner exchange. Hamas would release Israeli hostages, while Israel would release Palestinian prisoners. A staged withdrawal of Israeli forces from Gaza. And most controversially, a new transitional government for Gaza, not run by Hamas, but by Palestinian technocrats supervised by an international body. Trump himself would chair this International Board of Peace. The plan also demands that Hamas disarms, laying down its weapons completely. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu voiced his support, saying Israel is on board. But he also made it clear, if Hamas refuses, Israel will finish the job militarily. Netanyahu emphasized that even if a transitional government takes over, Israel will retain security control in Gaza to ensure Hamas can never rise again. So while the two leaders appear united, Israel is not giving up its military leverage. The announcement was quickly followed by statements of support. 8 Arab and Muslim countries have jointly welcomed the plan, including key U.S. allies in the region. Europe also responded positively. Britain, France, Italy, and the European Union all praised the proposal. In the UK, political leaders called the plan profoundly welcome, urging Hamas to accept so that hostilities could finally end and humanitarian aid could reach civilians in Gaza. Former British Prime Minister Tony Blair even offered to join the Board of Peace, describing the proposal as bold, intelligent, and potentially historic. This kind of broad international backing puts unprecedented pressure on Hamas to make a decision. But what about people living in the conflict zone? In Gaza today, the war continued. Israeli leaflets dropped over Gaza City warned residents to evacuate, declaring that the battle against Hamas would not stop until the group was defeated. On the streets, reactions were mixed. One man, who lost his brother and his house, told reporters, "We support anything that stops the bullets. We support anything that saves lives. We even support Arab forces coming here to help organize our internal affairs." Meanwhile, in Israel, political protests continue. Many families of hostages have long demanded a deal to free their loved ones. But Netanyahu's right-wing allies warn they will quit his government if the plan leads toward a Palestinian state. So while the war rages on in Gaza, the politics in Israel are just as complicated. The biggest question remains, will Hamas accept? So far, the group has said only that it is studying the plan. But experts believe Hamas is very unlikely to agree. Why? 3 main reasons. First, the demand for disarmament. Hamas insists it will never give up its weapons until a Palestinian state is formally established. Second, the Israeli withdrawal. The plan proposes a gradual pullout linked to disarmament. Hamas demands a full and immediate withdrawal before it even considers releasing hostages. Third, statehood remains vague. While the plan leaves open the possibility of a Palestinian state, it offers no concrete roadmap or timeline. Hamas says this is not enough. On top of that, other militant groups in Gaza, like Islamic Jihad, have already rejected the proposal. Their leaders called it a recipe for blowing up the region, accusing Israel of using the deal to impose conditions it could not achieve through war. It's worth remembering, this is not Trump's first attempt at Middle East peace. In earlier years, his team floated the idea of relocating Palestinians and turning Gaza into a Riviera of the Middle East. That plan was widely condemned. This time, however, there is a major difference. Palestinians would remain in Gaza, free to rebuild their homes and their lives. That shift, analysts say, is why so many international leaders are treating this proposal more seriously than past attempts. If Hamas accepts, the war could end. Hostages could return home, civilians could finally receive relief, and Gaza could begin rebuilding under international supervision. If Hamas rejects, Israel, with Trump's backing, will almost certainly intensify its offensive to try to eliminate Hamas once and for all. Either way, this moment feels like a turning point, so tonight the world watches and waits. Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu believe they have laid out a historic chance for peace. Arab and European nations have lined up in support. But in Gaza, Hamas holds the key. And so far, there's little sign they are ready to surrender. Will this plan finally bring peace to Gaza, or will it collapse before it even begins? That's the question hanging over the Middle East tonight. You've been watching Aurephic News. I'm your host, Ellie. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to subscribe for more updates and in-depth reporting on this and other global stories. Good night.